Welcome to Tuesday. It's the 9th of November, 2021. This podcast brought to you by Chugwater Chili, the gourmet spice of Western life. Go to chugwaterchili.com. Take advantage of a weekly special. Each week in the month of November, you're going to get some discounts and some great deals. This week, it's 15% off of all gift baskets. These gift baskets are great for that chili lover in your family. Go to chugwaterchili.com and take advantage. Well, as we take a look at what's coming, more like November, as we mentioned yesterday, while there's not a lot happening during the day today, we have a quick moving Pacific front that's going to bring rain and snow showers and breezy, colder conditions Wednesday and Thursday. The lion's share of the showers will be over the higher terrain, over the northern parts of the Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. Then a northwest flow will be aloft for the weekend. Northwest flow will keep us cool and breezy on the plains. It'll produce occasional snow showers in the mountains. The mountains are going to be getting a little bit of snow over the next 5 days or so. Not a lot, but a little bit. And we're expecting mostly just snow showers on the plains. We're still looking at another stronger, colder push of weather coming in by the middle of next week. And it is looking more and more likely that the second half of November into early December is going to be getting quite a bit colder, especially east of the divide. This kind of segues into what our long-range forecast that we released last week will be talking about late November into December, some larger scale things happening in the northern hemisphere that certainly indicate the end of November into early December, we're going to have some colder episodes coming. Still getting some photos in. This is from Douglas. Just a gorgeous shot of the Aurora Borealis on that November 3rd night last week. And as we mentioned in yesterday's podcast, even though we don't have any auroras going on right now, the sun is very, very active. Look at that. We've got three big sunspot regions right now. And what's interesting, they're in the both hemispheres. And a lot of times during the solar cycle, you'll see more sunspots in one hemisphere or the other, but they're in both hemispheres. So these sunspots, as you would expect in the new solar cycle, will be active. So we could have more nights like this winter and spring season. Taking a look at where we are today, taking a look at the 500 millibar or 18,000 foot level, we see some waves coming on through. Here's the next wave connected up with this cold air up into the Gulf of Alaska there. We've got a frontal system is going to zip its way on in tonight and into Wednesday morning. By Wednesday, look how fast this system is moving. This is classic La Nina, fast jet stream winds. So it just plows its way into the Continental Divide and moves through the front range of Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado very, very quickly. So it's a quick shot of mountain snow, rain and snow showers on the plains, and northwest winds will mean colder air coming in behind it. The storm then forms over Wisconsin and Minnesota by Friday morning. So we go from this, doesn't look like much, to a much more organized system over the Great Lakes. Now this is a pretty cold system. There's going to be some good snow across the eastern Dakotas, up into northern areas of Minnesota and the Great Lakes. And remember, this time of year, folks, the Great Lakes are still warm from the summer. And when you bring a pocket of cold, cold air aloft over those warm Great Lakes, you know what you get? You get those lake effect snows. So as we go into the weekend, that is something, especially Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, you're going to see that lake effect snow can be a big player this winter. I think it's going to be. High pressure, though, starts to build in behind it for the West Coast. So Washington, Oregon, the West Coast here into the Great Basin will see a drier trend briefly there. Notice, though, on Friday that the winds aloft into and east of the Continental Divide of Montana and Wyoming are right out of the north. So it's going to be windy and it's still going to be cool, more like November should be. This is what the precipitation looks like through Friday afternoon with this pattern. You can see the heaviest there in the Pacific Northwest with lighter amounts as you go east, but then there's that storm. It gets better organized to our east. This is what it looks like with snowfall. So you can see, southern Canada here, some pretty significant snows with that storm system. And you can sort of see an alignment from the northwest to the southeast with the way the snow is falling in the high country of the western United States. So the mountains are going to get a little bit of snow out of this pattern before the week's over. And even into the weekend, I even think Saturday night into Sunday, northwest flow could bring more snow to the high country and a few showers to the plains. This is next Wednesday, the 18th of November. We have a pretty good front coming on in, another front coming in behind it. So notice these are more mature, larger waves. 1, 2, 3. You're getting into a more wavy pattern. That leads to an increased activity. The more waves you get in the jet stream, the more busy the weather is going to be. Also, the more transient it's going to be, the more changeable it's going to be. As we go out further, this is next Wednesday. This is by next Sunday and Monday, the weekend after this one, the week going into Thanksgiving. Another front comes on through. Northwest winds come on in. And you notice the blue up here? Really, really cold air is really building in those northern latitudes. And here's a good reason why. Notice the snow cover extent. Look at the snow cover that's building here on the other side of the globe from far northern Europe to Russia, getting down to portions of Asia here, and then getting all the way back up here. Then now Alaska, pretty much snow covered, the Northwest Territories as well. So we're getting a large area snow cover, and we're all noticing with especially the time change, how dark it's getting so early. And so that's happening to those northern latitudes even more. So we're building up that cold air, and we're basically, what I'm telling you is we're setting the table for a colder end of November and a colder December. Taking a look at the latest sea surface chart, you can see the La Nina continuing here along the equator. And these two areas of contrast continue to be quite impressive. It's actually gotten colder relative to average up in the Gulf of Alaska, and we still have this warm pocket right here. So we have this big contrast between the cold and the warm and the La Nina continuing right here. So there's a lot going on. I think the end of November and into December going to be a very interesting stretch of weather across the North American continent, but especially the lower 48. Now, I want to talk briefly about the long-range forecast with sea surface temperatures. Late last week, we got the new European model seasonal forecast in that actually goes all the way through May. And this is a forecast of sea surface temperatures. Now, I will tell you that the models don't do very well with sea surface temperature modeling. So what you want to look at is not necessarily exactly what it shows you, but what the trend is. This is for December, and you can see La Nina persisting quite extensive here in the subtropical Pacific, and the cold staying up here and the warm staying here. But what happens if we were to look further out into the month of May? Notice what's developing right here. Warmer sea surface temperatures. Now, it's right next to some colder waters here, but what we're seeing right here is the erosion of La Nina. And as we talked about in our long-range forecast, we think that La Nina will end sometime spring, hoping by spring. This is indicating, and this is a nice indication that that's going to be happening as we get to the spring and summer season of 2022. Keep your fingers crossed, because this would get us back into a more moist weather pattern for the western United States for next year. Notice the cooler than average sea surface temperatures remain up there as well. I'll tell you this, if we continue to see this with this pattern up here heading in the spring and summer with a developing, or let's say a fading La Nina into a neutral or weak El Nino state, that does bode well, especially for maybe a cooler summer. And that's something we'll talk about in future podcasts. Have yourself a great Tuesday. We'll see you on Wednesday.